The last two chapters, if you actually see, they are more to do with society based as well as social issue based. It largely consists of issues in education, health, women, caste, religion, etc. etc. It is not practically possible for the center or even for the state government to address all the issues. Gram Sabha simply means it actually consists of all the voters of a village. Most of the states don't conduct the Panchayat or municipality elections on time. The Central Finance Commission has to take a stick and actually rap the knuckles of all the state governments to tell them that if you don't set up an SFC, I'm not going to give you any funds. That is why I told you again and again, don't support any political party. Hello everyone, welcome to the 11th and the last chapter of NCERT series, which is local government. Now, why am I calling it the last chapter? Because the last two chapters, if you actually see, they are more to do with society based as well as social issue based topics. Those are, you need to update them with the latest data that is coming up in the newspaper. That is the reason. The marginalized section chapter or even the miscellaneous chapter that you talk about, it largely consists of issues in education, health, women, caste, religion, etc. etc. So just keep the data of yours updated accordingly. Now, this is again an announcement for my my public administration batch, my new batch, which will be starting from December. Anybody who is interested in it can take it up. Then the other announcement is comprehensive current affairs program, which is being taken by me. So this is like, again, some of you might be knowing, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. These are the 4 days that I take the classes. Monday, Friday will basically be about the weekly current affairs, whatever happened in a week. Wednesday will include the backlogs from May month onwards. Saturday will be again a quick revision of what happened on Monday and Friday. So this is the overall idea. In addition to that, in this comprehensive current affairs batch, earlier, some of you might be knowing it, I used to review the answers in my own Telegram channel, but I was doing it for free. But currently, I am doing that same thing in this batch because this is an exclusive batch where the Telegram channel is there, directly monitored by me. And yes, I have started reviewing the answers here. So those of you who want to reach out to me, who wants guidance, who wants their answers to be reviewed, etc., this is your one-stop solution. All right. Just letting you know, only if you're interested, you need to take it up. We are already now, by the grace of God, we are having the family. Current affairs family has increased by more than 350. So if you are interested, only then take it up. Not trying to promote something or making you to come and buy the course. Only if you're interested, only if you feel current affairs is difficult for you, you need an understanding of the whole thing, how the mains question can come, what should you look for or look forward to. In case of that only, you need to take it up. All right, people. And yes, this is especially for the target year 2026. But doesn't mean that you shouldn't, you're giving a 27 or 28 or even 29 attempt, you shouldn't take it up. Because these days, to be very honest, the current affairs topics, if you actually see, if you do it properly, a lot of your basics gets covered. All right. So even if you're giving it much later also, you may consider this because along with your NCRTs, if you're giving your attempt much later, 28, 29, 30, etc., current affairs is one thing where you will end up covering at least 50 to 60% of the syllabus very easily just by attending the class. All right, people. Again, class notes will be available in our app in this section here. Let us get into local governments. They are instruments of decentralization and participatory democracy. They protect the local interests, active participation and purposeful accountability. Sabhas existed before independence, later evolved into Panchayats. 1882, Lord Ripon started off with the whole process. Government of India Act 1919 and 1935 also tried to encourage local government. Community Development Program was initiated in 1952, which tried to bring in a 3-tier system. PK Tongon Committee, 1989, constitutional recognition for local bodies. And finally, 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment passed in 1992. Idea is very simple. See, it is basically to ensure that you have governance even at the local level. because it is not practically possible for the center or even for the state government to address all the issues. So you need to have local government. Very, very important, because everywhere, world over, if you see, in all the major democracies or developed countries, why their cities are so good or why their villages are so good, the answer is only one: governance given to the people. People, you only handle it. Let the city council handle it or let the village council handle it. That is the general idea. Clear? 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act 93, strengthening local governments. Local government is a state subject. Or in other words, states have to take the initiative in setting up what? Panchayats as well as the municipalities. Even though it is a constitutional provision, state has to set it up, because merely setting up, okay, we also have panchayat, we also have municipality, that is not enough. You have to give them the powers. Simply creating a body without giving it any power is of no use. Features of 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, structure of Panchayati Raj system. If you actually see, the village level, you have the Gram Panchayat. The block level, you have the Janpat Panchayat or Panchayat Samadi or Mandal or Taluka Panchayat. District level, you have the Zilla Panchayat or District Council or Zilla Parishad or District Panchayat. Different names. All it means is simple. At the grassroots level, that is at the village level, you have the Panchayat, Gram Panchayat, then the block Panchayat, then the District Panchayat. 1, 2, 3. 3 sections. It is mandatory to create a Gram Sabha. Gram Sabha simply means it actually consists of all the voters of a village. All adult members registered as voters in the Panchayat area. Roles and functions are decided by state legislation. That means what and all the Panchayat can do or cannot do, that is decided by the state legislation. And trust me, no state will ever try to make their Panchayats very, very strong. Nobody will try to make it, because the idea here is states are very hesitant in giving away powers to the Panchayat. If everything is taken care by the Panchayat, then why am I here? That is the state's biggest fear. Because see, imagine if I'm able to get my road, my my agricultural related issues, or even if you're talking about cities, sanitation, water clogging, all these are taken care by the municipality, or it is being taken care by the Panchayat. Why will I care for an MLA then? I don't require an MLA then. MPs I will still need, because national level stuff, defense, external affairs, all that important things are there. So I will be still interested in national election. But there is a general fear that people will lose interest in state elections if you truly transfer all the powers to what? The panchayats and the municipalities. Clear? So generally states don't give powers to whom? Municipalities or to the panchayats. Instead, what most of the state governments do is, state governments exercise control over panchayats and municipalities. And how do they do that? They do that only through one person, or rather one service, which is the IAS. And Indian Administrative Service, all said and done, their transfer, their future, everything is in whose hands? The state government. So IAS officers know that their transfer is always dependent upon the state government, not on the basis of what the panchayat thinks or what the municipality thinks. Even the other officers, the state service officers also, their transfer and promotion is also in the hands of whom? State government. So the entire machinery, IAS plus the other bureaucracy, will only listen to the state government here. These two ends up becoming what? Dummy bodies. Only just to show, we are the panchayat member, we are the panchayat president, or I am the mayor, I am the panchayat president. That's it. Effective power do they have? No. Gram Panchayat meets regularly, and one of its main tasks is to implement development programs for all villages that comes under it. Work of a Gram Panchayat includes construction and maintenance of water sources, roads, drainage, school buildings, and other common property resources, levying and collecting local taxes, executing government schemes related to generating employment in the villages. Sources of funds for the Panchayat, collection of taxes on houses, marketplaces, etc. Government scheme funds, received through various departments of the government through the Janpad and Zilla Panchayat, donations of community work. All this has been said very nicely, but let me be very clear with one thing here. Any scheme, anything that the Panchayat wants to get approved, blessings of IAS is needed. Even for the simplest and the smallest schemes, you need to get the Ashirwad of IAS officers. Other than that, it is impossible. Like I told you, don't have any financial power. They want to do anything. They want to launch a new scheme. They want to come with a nice $1 million idea also. It should be approved by the IAS officer. Otherwise, no way they'll be able to take even 1 rupee. Apart from that, the next thing, even though they said yeah, taxes are there, etc. are there, the reality of all panchayats and municipality is, first of all, they are all having very less staff. They don't have that many officers. How many of you would like to work for as a officer with the panchayat in your state, or maybe even with the municipality? None of you will be having any interest, because why should you? Generally, nobody will have interest, because everybody wants either the, if I couldn't become a collector, then let me at least become an assistant collector. Not IAS means at least let me crack the state administrative service. Nobody will be having interest with the panchayat or municipality services. They may take it up only if they were never able to clear any exam. Only this is the job that they got. Then last May, okay, nothing worked out, let me take it up. Otherwise, generally, it is understaffed. Now, because they are understaffed, what is the next issue? So, who will go and collect these taxes, these property taxes? Collection of the taxes in our country, even be it at panchayat level or even be it at the municipality level, is very, very, very poor. And so, what happens to the source of funding? Like, from where do they get the revenue? In our country, be it the panchayat or municipalities, more than 90% of the funds, whatever panchayats and municipalities have, comes from central and state. Center or states grants. Less than 10% is own source of revenue. Clear, people? Ward will have a ward member, and amongst the ward members, they will elect the sarpanch or the panchayat president. Gram Panchayat as a secretary, who is also the secretary of the Gram Sabha. That secretary is basically a government servant, state government servant, appointed by the government, calling meetings and keeping record of the proceedings. Elections are conducted, but elections, again, as far as I have seen, with the exception of the state of Kerala, most of the states don't conduct the panchayat or municipality elections on time. Got the point here? Most of the states don't conduct it. In fact, most of the states don't even have a state election commission. As far as the local body elections are concerned, be it of panchayat or be it of municipality, it is conducted by the State Election Commission, not the Election Commission of India. And who has to set up the State Election Commission? The state government. This is the reality. 1/3 of reservation is given for women, given for SC and ST proportional to their population. It is up to the states to give discretion to give OBC reservation. So very recently, you would have heard this reservation issue happening in the state of Telangana. Positions of chairpersons or adhyakshas, reservation of 1/3 for women in general category, SC, ST, as well as backward communities. Transfer of subjects. 29 subjects are meant to be transferred as per the 11th schedule to the panchayats or the municipalities. Each state will decide how many of these 29 subjects will be transferred to the local bodies because it is a discretion of the state. Again, what is the real reality? Poor transfer. State Election Commissioner, state government appoints SEC as an independent officer. But even though when we say SEC an independent officer, even when they are appointed, they are always loyal to the state government. So they won't do their job properly. State Finance Commission, state government appoints again. Review the distribution of revenues between the state and the local governments on the one hand and between rural and local governments on the other. The SFC is also a body which again who should set it up? The state government should set it up. And what is the reality of this? The reality is that the 15th Finance Commission gave a deadline, March 2024. Within that, every state should set up an SFC. Only if they set up an SFC, except health and other grants, health and education grant, every other grant, whatever is there, I will not give it to you if you don't set up SFC. This is what the 15th Finance Commission told. What was the deadline? By March 2024, they have to do it. Which was the last state to set up a state finance commission? A state where one party has been in power since the last how many years now? At least close to 20 years or even more than that. Same party is there in the center also. And finally, the Central Finance Commission has to take a stick and actually wrap the knuckles of all the state governments to tell them that if you don't set up an SFC, I'm not going to give you any funds. Only after that, and that too the last. That is why I told you again and again, don't support any political party. So whenever I have said this, people have thought, okay, he's talking. No, let me make it very, very clear. Don't support BJP, don't support Congress. Support the government. You might be an ardent Congress supporter. What if you get, let us say, maybe a posting in UP? What will you do then? Or maybe what if you get it in Gujarat? What will you do? Will you resign your job and come? Or let us say you're an ardent BJP supporter. Generally, southern states, you have BJP, it's very rare that they win. So let us say you got maybe a state like Tamil Nadu or Kerala. Then what will you do? Will you resign and come? Elected government, you have to respect it come what may. Understand that very clearly. The celebrated officers of this country, the officers who are in the books of history for all the right reasons, if you see, they are the people who are loyal to the government, not to any one political party. Always keep it in mind. These type of objective, factual criticism you can give. You can easily give. You can put this in the answer sheets also. That is not a problem because you're not criticizing anybody here. I mean, it is a criticism, but you're not specifically targeting any political party. You're basically talking the facts here that Central Finance Commission had to do this. That is when finally the last state to set it up was Gujarat. That much you can write. Beyond that, if you write Gujarat did very poorly, Gujarat, even though they had the same party at the center as well as at the state level, it took so many, they had to be forced by the Finance Commission, clearly shows that this government lacks this. That you won't write. Not the point here. You will only write the fact. This is the fact. Last state to form it. That you will give. Clear, people? Because it is available. It is there in the public domain. This is how you will go by it. All right, people. Moving on. Panchayat extension to scheduled areas. Provision of 73rd Amendment were not made applicable to the areas inhabited by Adivasi populations in many states of India. In 1996, a separate act was passed extending the provisions of the Panchayat system to these areas. For this purpose, more powers are given to the Gram Sabhas of these areas, and elected village panchayats have to get the consent of the Gram Sabha in many respects. What it simply means is PESA Act. Normal Panchayat, that is a 73rd Amendment, is not applicable here wherever the tribal populations are there. Instead, what is applicable here? PESA. Under PESA, Gram Sabha is a super powerful body. Why super powerful? Any mining activity, any activity where land is involved, whether it is forest you want to cut, whether you want to take metallic minerals or non-metallic minerals, whatever be it, or you want to construct a dam and you want to take over the land, whatever you want to do, you have to take the approval of the Gram Sabha. Without the Gram Sabha's approval, neither the central government can do anything, nor the state government can do anything. Nobody can do anything there. Got the point? The idea behind this act is that local traditions of self-government should be protected while introducing modern elected bodies. This is only consistent with the spirit of diversity and decentralization. We have done this basically why? Because tribal population or tribal people have their own way of living. So while protecting their lifestyle, we should also understand what we should also try to keep the spirit of democracy alive. And that is why we have a Gram Sabha here also, but we are giving them the power. All right. Features of 74th Constitutional Amendment. Based on 2011 census, 31% of India's population lives in cities. 12th schedule. Now, 31%, that is an understatement. It is more than that now. India will be going into rapid urbanization in the next 2 years. No, sorry, next 20 years. Census of India definition for urban. Minimum population of 5,000 persons. Population density of at least 4,000 persons per square kilometer. 75% of the male working population should be engaged in non-agricultural work. Today, what it simply means is mostly in the service industry. Municipal corporation finances. Municipal corporation finances is its services by collecting money through various means, primarily taxes. Property owners pay property taxes based on their property size, contributing around 25 to 30% of the corporation's income. Additional taxes are charged for education, businesses, and even movie tickets. This mix of taxes ensures both property owners and a wider population contribute to the corporation's revenue. Now, again, this particular point here, same thing, like the Panchayat only. But again, the same issue. They don't have a staff. More than 90% of funds comes from grants of center and states. Own source of revenue is less than 10%. Here also they are understaffed. Implementation of 73rd and 74th Amendment in our country has been very, very pathetic. Because I will tell you 2-3 things now. That is why it is so pathetic. Number one, most of the states don't have a state election commission. Thankfully, because of the 15th FC now, there is a state finance commission. But to what extent is this effective is the next question. It's a question in itself. Third point, obviously, is what? Understaffed. That issue is also there. Number 4, poor transfer of powers and finances. And this is the most last point, but the most craziest aspect I will tell you now. Central government, whatever money they spent, how much money they receive, it is audited by whom? Comptroller, Auditor General of India. When it comes to state government also, the same thing. How much money the state government receives, how much money they have spent, audited by Comptroller, Auditor General of India. In the case of local bodies, CAG does not audit. And there lies a story. And what is that story? Grassroots level corruption. That is at the Panchayat level, at the municipality level, you have the highest form of corruption. I know people, not going to say personally, but at least I know people who have been in the panchayat. So normally when they say panchayat secretary, panchayat president, I'll be like panchayat secretary, not panchayat secretary, sorry. Panchayat secretary is also there. Sorry. But person, I'll be like, I was initially, okay, panchayat president, what salary they will get, what? This was what I was thinking till I visited their home. Nice palatial bungalow. In fact, that is not a surprising thing. Go to any village probably in this country, find out the Gram Panchayat president's house will not, you won't even have to ask anybody. Just take a nice round around that village. Chakkar Gatlo, you will find a very big Haveli, like a Haveli type bungalow, which is like constructed on the basis of the current plan, current style, current trend. That will be the Panchayat president's house. High level of corruption they can do. Fund, they get a lot. But when it comes to utilizing the funds properly, that is very, very poor. So as long as CAG audit is not there, as long as state election commissions are not placed, where elections are conducted properly every 5 years, don't worry, the panchayats and municipalities in our country will continue to perform very, very pathetically. One solution for this, if you ask me, is nothing but what? We need to have one nation, one election under ECI. ECI should take care of center, state, and local bodies, elections. That is first and foremost solution. To bring in financial propriety or even regularity, what is needed? You need to give powers to CAG to audit the local bodies. CAG should audit it. Without that fear, oh my God, CAG will audit it, our whole, whatever ghotala we are doing, it will come out in the open. Without that, local bodies will only become what? Agencies of corruption. They are not going to be those transformational bodies that will change the rural way or the urban way of living. Clear, people? With that, we come to an end of our NCERT series, people. So, any further doubts or queries, please post it up. All right. So, once again, the comprehensive current affairs batch. I would suggest, if you have answer writing doubts, if you are already done with your preparation, but you need to just get, a complete updation of whatever is happening around, I would suggest to take up the comprehensive current affairs batch. Even if you're totally new to the preparation also, still I would say, take it up, practice your answer writing based on the current affairs, and you will get to know how to interlink the concepts, everything, when you write these answers. Clear, people? God bless you all. Take care.